Some fans are convinced West Ham United will be relegated this season. Some are certain we will survive the drop, while some just don't know. But what do fans of other football clubs think? We decided to reach out to some friends of Hammers Chat and say, "Oi, do you think West Ham are going to get relegated this season?" Well, let's find out.
Will West Ham be relegated this season? Yes, I think they will. In recent years, you don't associate a big club like West Ham with relegation, but I think they're going down. The players seem so low on confidence, and when you brought David Moyes in, you're thinking the bare minimum is that he's going to convert this frustration, bucket load of frustration at the club, supporters protesting against the owners. He's going to convert that into determination and fight. But I look at West Ham and I think, what does this club stand for? And you need that going into a relegation fight. And the quality as well at the back, leaking loads of goals. And I think the last time they won was against Gillingham in the FA Cup. It looks tough, it looks difficult. Norwich City, I think, are a given going down. They didn't spend enough. They didn't sign any centre-backs when they ought to have done last season. They conceded quite a few goals for a title-winning championship team. They then didn't sign any centre-backs and then had an injury crisis in centre-back. It really was a crisis, and I think it would be naive to suggest otherwise. So Norwich, I think Bournemouth will go down. Eddie Howe, he's had lots of injuries, he's been slightly stubborn in his tactics. It was only recently he changed into a 4-3-3, and I think when Josh King comes back, I wonder if he'll go back and revert to that 4-4-2, which seems to leave Callum Wilson isolated and they don't create enough up top. And I think looking at their upcoming fixtures, I thought, can they get about 14 points from these fixtures? I decided no. Away from home, not great form, and at home I didn't think there was enough there to win. So I think it's going to be Norwich, Bournemouth and West Ham in no particular order. Well, Norwich at the bottom. No offence.
Hi, I'm Lee Judges. I've been asked a question. Will West Ham get relegated? I honestly think that they will survive. I think it's going to be really, really tough. I think it's going to go down to the wire. They've got some tremendously difficult games coming up over the next few weeks. But after that, I think that they've just got enough quality to get through and stay in the Premier League. I believe that Norwich will, well, I think they're already gone, if I'll be honest. Bournemouth and Brighton would be my three teams that would go down. But in saying that, West Ham, we're going to have to pull out a couple of results along the way. They did pull out a fantastic result against Chelsea away. They're going to have to do that at one of the big boys. Hopefully not against Arsenal, but let's hope that it's down the road at White Hart Lane is where they can get those 3 points. And I think they're just going to have enough to survive. I think that the teams that I've mentioned, I think West Ham just got a little bit more quality, and that will be enough to see them through. So I feel at the end of the day that West Ham will just survive.
Hi guys, it's Sophie here from Hairdryer Treatment. Now I've been asked the question, do I think West Ham are going to get relegated this season? Now it's a bit of a difficult one because West Ham on their day, we all know they can produce results. They can be a difficult team to beat. But their day at the minute, it doesn't look like coming. I think they look very poor. And I think it's been coming for a few seasons really. Is it a matter where West Ham need to get relegated in order for them to bounce back, in order for changes to happen within the club? I think there's obviously issues there further than the manager. You look at the players that West Ham have signed, and they have signed lots of players, but not to the quality that you need. And again, you have to blame the people in the background really. The recruitment obviously isn't right for the club, and I think it's been happening for a few years now. And I think it'd be sad to see a team like West Ham get relegated, because they're a massive club. However, you have to say this has been happening now. It's the same old West Ham, isn't it, that we've known for the last few years. This club could be near, obviously, top half of the table, could be pushing for Europa, but with the squad it's got at the minute, the recruitment, the manager, it's just not working. And for me, because you're obviously sacked, you've had several managers in charge, like I say, you have recruited players, there's a deeper problem there for West Ham at the minute, and the recruitment isn't good enough. The players that you've signed haven't been good enough, even though you have spent money. You spent it on players that aren't cut out for the Premier League. There's obviously an issue because you keep sacking managers, and like I said, it's the same old West Ham. And I just think it might be one of them where really, if West Ham get relegated, yes, I know it's negative, and like I say, it's sad to see a team like that get relegated. But at the same time, you're thinking maybe it's not kind of the kick up the arse that the club needs at the minute to make them realise that actually it's not good enough. So I think it's an interesting one. West Ham go through spells where you think, you know what, they look good, they're challenging for Europe, and then, like I say, they look absolutely shocking. And this has been ongoing now for a few years, which tells me that obviously changes need to happen, and maybe with relegation that will happen. I think there is a good chance they could get relegated this season. Villa, obviously looking more and more likely. But when you look at teams like Sheffield United, I mean, I've compared them to Manchester United to say that they've got a style of play, they've got a clear system, they're all playing for the manager. You look at the likes of West Ham and that just simply is not happening. Southampton look like they're turning it around now. Everton obviously looking like they're turning it around now, but West Ham look like they're in a rut, and I think there's a very good chance that they could be relegated. And I'll be sad to see that happen, but at the same time, I think the club needs to kick up the arse at the minute, and maybe relegation is the thing that's going to make it happen. Let me know, guys, if you agree or disagree with my opinion. Thank you so much for listening. Tune into Hairdryer Treatment. Obviously check out my content, but big up to Hammers Chat as well. Thank you for asking to have me on. I appreciate it. And yeah, let's see what happens with West Ham. Hopefully for your sake they stay up, but it's going to be an interesting one.
Right, folks, I have been in touch, or rather Hammers Chat has been in touch and asked me to give you my opinions on will the Hammers stay up. I personally think they will stay up by the skin of Karen Brady's knickers. I think it's going to go down to the last couple of games. I do think the teams that go down will be Bournemouth. I think Villa will get too excited about the Carabao Cup, and Norwich will go down. I think you've got a tough run in. I'm going to have a quick look at the fixtures. What's going on here? I think you'll do it. I think you honestly will stay up, folks. I think you'll probably, you've got a hard run in. You won't beat Liverpool. You should beat Southampton. I think you'll do Arsenal. They've got to lose soon. And I think all the other games are winnable. I honestly think you'll probably beat United at Old Trafford, and I think you'll do Villa at home on the last day of the season. I do hope West Ham stop up, because it's an excellent little club. They've got a tremendous ground, and they deserve more than what they've got, who is owning and running them now. The sooner you get rid of the three stooges who are sitting in their director's box, all the better. Good luck, West Ham.
Hi Hammers Chat, how you doing? Lee from Newcastle Fans TV. Will the Hammers go down? There's a few, quite a lot actually, in Newcastle Fans TV think yous will go down. I'm actually in the minority. I actually don't think yous will. I know you've had the turmoil. Yous quite remind me of us. There's a lot of off-field problems with Newcastle and West Ham. We protest, we boycott, there's troubles on and off the pitch. We're very much similar kind of club, big clubs. But I think this will have enough. I know you've got a tough run of fixtures coming up, but West Ham are quite capable of beating one of the big boys. So it wouldn't be a shock to me. The rest of the team, majority of them think that you will go down. I don't. I think you will have enough to stay up. And I hope West Ham do stay up. Traditional big club, hurting, suffering fans, a bit like us. We can relate on so many levels. Good luck for the rest of the season. I hope you do stay up. Lee from Newcastle Fans TV.
West Ham United, wow, that's a whole can of worms. Could you imagine if you lot go down? Could you imagine your supporters rattling around in that championship, promised the world and being given nothing in return? Listen, lads, we were in your position about 2 years ago with Maurizio Pellegrino, Mr. Bean, Mr. Uninspirational. It was difficult to see where our points and where our wins were coming from at that stage, but we turned it around. Obviously at the time our Qs came and steered the ship, kept us up. That season, thankfully for us, we kind of relied on there to be three worst teams, and right now looking at West Ham, your next set of, I guess, 6 fixtures could be really unforgiving, and you could see yourself a little bit adrift. And to be honest, if I were you, I'd be looking at that last 6 games, targeting to stay up. Really difficult for West Ham at the moment, and I have sympathy for you. Great set of supporters, passionate supporters that don't deserve the luck and the treatment from the ownership, etc. I'm sure that's a conversation for another day, but right now I think it's difficult to imagine West Ham staying up based on your current form. You need a bit of an inspirational great escape.